Hello everybody, sorry for the delay of this video. It'll probably come out after Easter now. I wanted to get this one out before, but there's been so many albums I wanted to talk about. I've been lacking on this, and I've just been struggling to use my crappy computer, so there's all sorts of things that are bringing these videos to come a bit slower, but hopefully when I can get back into the groove of things, it's a bit easier. So I'll just go through the whole list I've got of March. I had to scrap some things and put them into a different video, and then just scrap some things entirely. So yeah, it's been quite a busy month. So to start off, we have Oathbound, Colours in Grey. This is a really generic rock, hard rock sort of blend into, I guess, elements of what you think is metalcore and post-hardcore. It's very much octane core sort of sound. It is so barren, and there's just not really anything to enjoy. Vocals aren't really for me. Instrumentation is just bland. I found this to be very underwhelming, so that's very unfortunate. I'm going to give that one a 1.5 out of 5. Our Oceans, Right Here, Right Now. I feel like this one's just okay. I didn't really have too much to say about this one. Just thought this one was an alright listen. I think it's got some good stuff towards the end, like Sun-Stained Waters and If Only, but as of an album like this goes, I just didn't really have much to say. It is just kind of a sort of blip of a listen, so I didn't really have much than that. It's 2.5 out of 5 for me. The new one by Squeeze, Trixies. Squeeze, honestly, I haven't really listened to much Squeeze outside of some of their bigger stuff and their more popular releases back in the sort of like 80s sort of movement, but yeah, Trixies is not too bad actually. This definitely has the kind of feel that Jules Holland, if he was still in the band, would sort of bring into their own direction here. I like the kind of swing elements you get to it. It's got some fun alternative sound to it, and I think it just in general has got some catchy tunes, and I'm actually surprised that I thought a Squeeze release in 2026 is actually good. I was shocked by that, but no, I think it's worth a listen. I'm not huge on it, but it's kind of a nice listen, just casual, fun little record, 3 out of 5. Surfbort, Reality Star. This kind of feels like Wet Leg if they actually stuck to being a punk band rather than kind of going with this indie alternative blend that they started off with their debut record and then continued on with Moisturizer. I just didn't really care for Surfbort in my opinion. I just found a lot of this kind of garage punk stuff to be kind of obnoxious. Some songs, as a matter of fact, just were really annoying, and I think if it wasn't for the fact that it's kind of in your face with it, I wouldn't have minded it too much, but it just kind of got on my nerves, so I had to put it at a 2 out of 5. I didn't really care for it. The Black Crowes, A Pound of Feathers. It's another Black Crowes record. I just don't think there's anything really wrong with it, but there's not really anything that I'm proud of either. It's just kind of a listen, I suppose. It's okay. Production wise, it sounds fine. I think instrumentally they have some cool ideas, but I can't really say a Black Crowes record in 2020 in this day and age is going to shock me in any shape or form, so I'm just going to give it 2.5 out of 5. Thought it was alright. Holy Fuck, Event Beat. Yeah, Holy Fuck has had some pretty good stuff in the past, and Event Beat actually had some pretty good tunes as well. I feel like some songs were a bit of waste potential, while others had some very fun electronic elements that just made it sound pretty fun. Obviously electronic is the band's DNA, but I just feel like they managed to bring in some stronger stuff and mix it in with some very weak stuff. I feel like as a whole though, the good outweighs the bad, and it's actually quite enjoyable. Was not expecting this one to be one of their stronger releases in a while, so I'll take that. Give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's decent. Shoreline. Is this the low point or the moment after? Honestly, this one surprised me. I actually quite liked it. It's just kind of got this post-hardcore pop punk blend to it, and I really like it. It's got a bit of that hard rock emo to it, and I think it's a very nice sound. It's got some very good songwriting to it. It's just a very kind of nice sounding record, and while some songs towards the end, some of the melodies do feel familiar to other projects I've heard in similar genres, it's still pretty nice, and I quite like what this one goes for, so 3.5 out of 5. Sweet Peel, Still There Is a Glow, kind of like the more emo, with a little bit of that slacker rock and gazy feel to it. I really like this one. Some songs are just very slow and relaxing, or just least tamer, and then some other songs pushing a little bit more of that energy of their kind of like heavier emo, a little blend of post-hardcore emo to it. It's a very nice direction this one went for, and I think Sweet Pill, I was not expecting this one to be bad, so I was quite happy with the results. Give it a 3.5 out of 5. UnityTX, I couldn't really care for this one, to be honest. It's just kind of your rap metal album, and I just didn't really care whatsoever. Lyrically, it didn't really appeal to me. It just kind of feels like House of Protection kind of pushing into that rap metal in the weakest way possible, and it's not a diss to House of Protection. I quite like them. I just think UnityTX here just didn't really do anything exciting. It just kind of felt like a bit of a cringe fest of a listen. I really didn't enjoy it, to be honest, so I give it a 2 out of 5. YONAKA, Hope You're Satisfied. I was not expecting myself to review YONAKA, but here I am. I feel like some songs, some of the singles really made me excited for the release, and once it came out I wasn't as thrilled with the record, but I just guess it's because it's part of this pop rock sound isn't really my cup of tea, but there's still some fun energy on it, and I think there are some pretty good songs, especially the singles I talked about, some of the opening tracks as well. I feel like the vocals and the production are pretty good, so it's a good album. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. The Deer Hunter, Sunya. It's a fun little prog rock record with some fun jazz and psychedelic elements put into it. It's not the Deer Hunter's strongest work, and it's not their best work either. It's honestly quite an unmemorable experience, even going back into this one twice. It is good for the quality of it, but it is not really memorable or sticking into your head. It's just one of those you'll probably have to listen to again and again and again just to kind of get it to nail down there. But as it is, I think it's still an enjoyable enough listen to give it a 3 out of 5. Exodus, Goliath. Yeah, I haven't really had much of a listen to later Exodus, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's got some good elements. I think the first half of the record definitely reels you in with some stronger riffs, and I think the heavy metal, thrash metal they want to go for here is just a bit better on the first half. Some good stuff on the second, but by the time I get to the end, I'm a little bit bored of the record, so I would only give it a 3 out of 5, because it is still pretty fun in some way, shape or form. Got the new one by Moodring, Death Fetish. I quite liked Moodring when they were going for that kind of, I guess similar to Thornhill loaf sound and Deftones. I know it's not the most original, but it just had quite a fun pop to it. So when Moodring decided to kind of go this direction, something a bit more original, I actually found this to be less interesting as a whole. I just found a lot of elements of this felt a bit strange and bizarre. I just don't think the songs flowed the way that they expected it to, and this might be some people's cup of tea. I do appreciate the fact that Moodring is really trying to branch out from kind of pigeonholing, kind of copying, not copying, but utilising a lot of similar ideas going around on the internet and sound-wise, and creating their own sound. I do appreciate, but I just don't think this was really that strong, to be honest. I think there's some good songs, but not really anything I'd go out of my way to listen to, which I'm very surprised by, because I was really highly anticipated this album. So unfortunately it's a 2.5 out of 5. Black Label Society, Engines of Demolition. I almost missed this album out, so I'm glad I talk about it here. Yeah, Black Label Society's album is pretty good. There is some good elements to it. The Gallows, a 2024 single, I believe, is finally on a record here, so they have been releasing stuff for a while, and finally it's accumulated to this release. I've honestly enjoyed some of the singles of this, and you can't forget the fact that there is an Ozzy Osbourne tribute song at the end of the record, which I think is pretty sick. And honestly, I think for a Black Label Society record, it's one of the better ones in a bit. Not the best, doesn't come up to stuff like Mafia, but it's still pretty good. 3 out of 5. Chamber, This Is Goodbye. Some pretty good, fun metalcore, beatdown hardcore, sort of like, if you like Throne, you'll like Chamber sort of sound. I think the variety here is great. You just get some absolute insane riffs, and then you kind of get the last track, which kind of gives you a little bit more of the softer, bit of a melodic approach, while it still incorporates that energy. It's fun. I think Chambers' album is explosive and just doesn't give a shit. It does it in all the right ways that Lionheart could only dream of doing, and it definitely knocks stuff like Kublai Khan out of the picture. So yeah, props to Chamber, 3.5 out of 5, pretty good record. Footballhead, Weight of the Truth. Yeah, this one honestly has some really fun energy to it, but I think the more you go on, it just kind of loses its fun energy. It's kind of like you get the cool aspect of their sound. It's kind of, oh, okay, that sounds a bit, it sounds a bit mainstreamy, but I like the rock energy. I think the instrumentation's cool. The vocals are great. I feel like I could dig this sound, and by the time they just don't really bring in what worked with the first few songs for the rest of the record, so it's still enjoyable, but it doesn't hit you the same as it first did. Either I feel like the sound just kind of wears off a bit, or I feel like the ideas are more front-loaded on this record, but either way, it's still good. I give it 3 out of 5. Poison the Well, Peace in Place. Yep, the some metalcore pioneer band is back again, and I wasn't really big on it, so I decided to listen to it again, and then it clicked for me. Yeah, Peace in Place is great. It's a pretty fun record. But when I see Peace in Place, I keep thinking Pizza Place, just because of when I'm saying it. It's got a lot of really good aggression to it. I feel like the still got that absolute charm I love of earlier metalcore, but bringing it into a modernised sound does a pretty good job. Not much else to say than that. 3.5 out of 5. Samurai Pizza Cats, press start. If you're an Electric Callboy fan, you might enjoy elements of this, and I feel like they kind of wiggle the Electric Callboy sound for the bunch of songs, and then they kind of incorporate a bit more of a, I guess, a sort of more unique sound that's still not as unique. It definitely reminds me of some smaller bands I've talked about as well. I get a little bit of Crushed by Waves with some of the tracks here, but Samurai Pizza Cats, yeah, either it's more original and works better, or it's just copying Electric Callboy. I don't mind it, I just don't really care too much for it. The fact that they have a band that sounds like baby metal called Baby Beard is funny, because I was then thinking of Ratata from this. It's not the best album, it's alright, but it's not really one I'd see myself going back into. 2.5 out of 5. And finally, Tiger's Jaw, Lost on You. Very pretty emo indie rock record. I like it. It's just got a very beautiful feel to it, structure-wise and just overall presentation. I think it's a very fun, majestic, and one of the best albums I've talked about in this video, so I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. So there you go. I've just kind of gone through it a bit quicker, but that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in March. I want to be talking about a new Corrosion of Conformity record as well, so hopefully I can get the review for that out around this time. So that's all I have to say. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good Easter if you probably had Easter, because I think this comes out afterwards. So yeah, hope you enjoy.